And we're back, guys. I am about to cut this bracket. As I showed you, I have it outlined, ready to go. Today's actually another new day. Last night ended up turning to this morning. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and cut this and probably drill the holes that I need to drill into this actual body or frame of the car. That way I can mount the bottom brackets so that this radiator will be in place permanently. Okay? Got the bracket cut. I think it looks pretty good. And I'll be completely honest with you, if I had the right tools, and one day I will, but if I ever had the right tools, things would go a lot smoother, a lot quicker, and the quality would be even better. This was all free-handed, as you just saw. So I got this cut up, so now I'm gonna go drill the holes that need to go into the body. Alright, I actually want to show you guys what I'm doing here, so bear with me. Okay, so here are the two brackets that I'm using that I need, and what I'm going to do here is, you can see this issue that I'm going to have down here. This is one of the brackets, one of the ties for the subframe that ties the subframe to the actual body itself. What I'm trying to do is, there might be enough clearance to fit a bolt head in there. Let's actually check. So here's the bolt that I'm going to use, right? And let's take this radiator out, actually. Okay, so you can see my slippers. This is the bolt head, right? And this is that hole for the bolt of the subframe. You guys can kind of see the head right here. What my plan is to do, and I think this will work, is to slot this, make a cut right here. And I'm actually going to slot it so that I can have the bolt right about here, which is almost exactly where I need it to be for this bracket, which is basically perfect. So, of course. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to slot this just like that. So when you guys are cutting or trying to cut something and you want to draw it or you want to mark it, typically when you do things, and if you guys are machinists or work in a fab shop, anything of that sort, or even any shop, you typically want to score the piece of metal or the piece of material that you're going to be cutting. In this case, if I score this, and what I mean by score is to actually etch into it. So like if I take this corner and I scratch it, you're basically scoring it. In this case, you're not really going to be able to see it because it's painted. So what most people do is they'll take like some bluing, or in my case, I'm going to take a paint marker that you would use for welding, right? And I'm going to try and get the paint flowing. All right, there you go. So I'm marking this down, and why I'm doing this is because I'm basically coloring the metal. You'll see why in a second. I'm gonna take my calipers, right, and see the sharp edges right here? Boom, boom. I'm gonna place that bolt right here where I think it needs to be. Gonna take the diameter of the bolt like so, right? Alright, so can't really see it, but I can. See if you guys can get a better look. It would be better if I actually used bluing. I don't have any. I should buy some because I'll be doing more cuts in the future. You kind of see those white lines, they look white or silverish because it's back to the metal, right? So bluing would be nice because it would have a better contrast. Of course, this is light and light. Bluing would be dark and light. So what I'm going to do now is cut the slot. This might be a hack job, but we're going to try to do the best we can. And then we take our bolt, slide that right in, just like that. Boom. Done. Easy, right? I don't think this will develop a crack. Can it? No, I don't think this affects the structural integrity. Typically you want to keep these, you know what? Nope, for good measure we're going to do it. I don't have the right bit. I need to make sure that those edges are rounded. But let me explain to you guys why I think that those corners and edges need to be rounded. More so the corners. So let's go back to the notebook here. So let's say you have a corner, right? It's a sharp corner. Just say this is like an L bracket. And you pull on this side and you pull on this side, right? So you're trying to bend this bracket like that, and this side could be like that. All right, what's happening is you're gonna see so much stress in this area right here. So to resolve that and to try and mitigate the amount of stress, still gonna be stress concentration, but typically what you do is you'll round these corners, right? And that actually lowers the stress in those areas. So when looking at this down here, I'm not so much worried about, let me use this bolt to point. I'm not so much worried about these two corners, right? This one right here and this one right here. I'm more worried about this corner and that corner because it's so close to this subframe bracket, and the subframe bracket's going to see all this movement and load from the actual motor and transmission when shifting gears, when doing all this, like flooring the pedal and the motor just shifting. It will be putting load onto the frame of the car, and when it puts load on the frame of the car, I'm not sure if this will play a big factor, because the last thing I want is for this to crack, or a crack to propagate, or a crack to occur and then it would propagate. So I'm not too worried about it. I think most of the load's going to be at the bottom of the subframe, because the subframe's actually like a shell. It's like two pieces that are welded together. Oh, I'm sorry, not the subframe. The frame, the body frame itself. So you have this like lower surface here, this lower piece, and then it's like pinch welded or something. It's welded together with a top piece like that. All right, so let's cross our fingers and hope it doesn't make a difference. I could be overdoing this, I could be overthinking this, which typically that's what engineers do, so I'm not too upset about it. But better safe than sorry, and at least you guys know a little bit now of stresses and stress concentration, so maybe that's a little lesson for you guys. Let's bolt this thing down. Bolt in. Okay. Washer. And we're actually going to put a lock washer on as well, so that this does not come loose and back out with all the vibrations. Alright, so now it's kind of set in place. Oh, freedom units. And we're going to get this one in now. Okay guys, so we got one bracket in, we're going to do the next one now. In order to do the next one, I need to put the radiator back in place, so that way I know the exact spots where this other bracket's going to need to go. So I'm going to put the camera back up, go ahead and do that, you guys can watch. Need this size right here, so I need to figure out what size drill I'm going to use. If you don't know how to do this, just kind of take the measurement here. 0.375, so this is 3/8 of an inch. Bracket's in, okay. Bracket is in, torqued it down, bolt washer, lock washer, nut, bolt, washer, lock, washer, nut. I just tested to make sure that this closes, and here we go. She closes. So now that that's set, we can move on to the next section of the engine bay. Right now, everything looks good. Closes how it's supposed to, and so I'm gonna stop here. See you guys in a little bit. I am just jumping all over the place with this footage. One day I'm doing this, the next day I'm doing that. I leave and then I come back and then it's 3 days later, which right now happens to be the case. So let me update you about what's going on right now. So I got the spall fan in, and let's show you what I'm talking about. 13-inch spall fan. I think it's rated for 1770 CFM. I got this off of Summit Racing, and then the brackets, I didn't feel like making custom brackets, so I just bought these. These are only like $4 a piece, maybe 3 or 4. So I just decided to pick that up. Get that out of the way. I'm gonna cut these down, obviously, because I don't want these hanging out, and the hood's not gonna close regardless if I tried to, and I'm not going to try. And then as you can see here, I finally got my hands on these P2R radiator hoses. I'm gonna have to trim these ever so slightly, so that way it fits how I need it to fit. But before I do any of that, I need to, and then I got some tubing for the overflow tank, which leads me to this. Picked up a bottle of water. Gonna run this with the distilled water. And then I got a new coolant overflow tank. This was from eBay, actually. Forgot who the manufacturer was, but pretty good quality. You know, I really hope there's no leaks, but it came with the mounting hardware, and I wanted to get this because I liked how there was this clear tubing that can kind of tell you the level. I think that's necessary for monitoring my coolant levels. What I'm gonna do before I do any of this stuff, before I mount anything else, I need to wire, I need to solder the old connector from the old fan and splice into the new spall fan's wires. That way this is just plug and play. Well, yeah, that way it'll be plug and play and I can remove it whenever I need to. And then also it'll work off of the original, whatever the ECU setting is for what the temperature needs to be for the fans to kick on. So that's the agenda. Guys, so I got the wires soldered up and taped up. I kind of just skipped through it, and just to kind of show you guys, so I spliced into this wire for the fan to use the existing connector so that I can plug into the OEM connector. So now what I'm going to do is shave down these brackets. Let's put this up, cut it. You guys can watch me do that. The radiator is in, okay, with the fan, and I took the cardboard off finally because this is basically it. I'm done. yeah, so radiator's in. P2R hoses are cut down to what they're supposed to be. Everything fits pretty good. From test fitting to final results, I'm very satisfied and happy with what I'm seeing here. I think as far as the room goes and as far as clearance goes, I think this has some very promising results. I think it's going to show some promising results. So what's next is that I am going to, let's go grab it right now. I'm going to mount the coolant overflow tank, right? Probably gonna do it somewhere like this, maybe, or maybe maybe this way. That way I can actually see the level. So this will be the next thing that I mount. I'm gonna save that for another day because it's getting kind of late here. It's right about 10:45 at night, and I have work tomorrow, so I have to wake up and get to work. Plan is to yeah, mount that reservoir in, and then I'm gonna put the old intake manifold back on and place all the wires or plug the hoses back in, make sure the wires are placed how I want them to be placed, and that'll give me kind of like a good gist of what this is gonna look like. Everything will start coming together, and put the battery in there and the intake piping with the blow-off valve that will go back in as well. And then after that, I will spark her up and test and see if distilled water will keep this engine cool enough with a little bit of water wetter. Actually, I think what I'm going to do first is just do the distilled water and then do a test, see what the temperatures look like, and then just to prove to see if water wetter actually works, which I'm sure it's been proven, but I'm just curious myself. I like to see the numbers. Then I will put in water wetter and compare the results. And I'll share that with you guys too. So if you're interested in that, stay tuned because I'll be doing that. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, hit that notification button so that you guys know when I'm posting new videos, and you'll be updated with the most recent content. All right, stay safe out there, stay healthy, and see you guys.